Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. It's just a little before 1 o'clock. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd of March, 2022. My name is Art Blauvelt. I am filling in for the Judge Chris Bates, who unfortunately is no longer with us. So first thing I do is arraignments. An arraignment is where you're entering a plea of either not guilty or guilty to the criminal charge against you. Prior to the presenting of the arraignment, I ask that people complete the arraignment form. So the first person I have is Michael Adams, cause number 3966. Mr. Adams, if you'd come up to the microphone. Mr. Adams, you're charged by the city of Montesano with the offense of driving while license suspended or revoked in the 3rd degree. The city says that on the 19th of February, 2022 at approximately noon, you were operating a motor vehicle within the city limits of Montesano, and at that time you did not possess a valid driver's license because your license had been suspended. Normally, a suspension, driving while license suspended in the 3rd degree, means that you're eligible for reinstatement. So do you understand the charge against you?
Yes.
And did you read over this arraignment form?
Yes, I did.
And is this your signature on the 2nd page?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you've indicated you're not asking for appointment of a public defender, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And you've indicated that you believe that you are able to defend yourself, and there's a 2-page questionnaire that was filled out by you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And without discussing any of the issues that may be involved in your license, do you know what issues there are, if there are any?
Yes, I'm working on getting it back right now, actually. I'm just
All right.
waiting for them to release the hold on it. I just had to make a couple payments, and so I'm just waiting for the hold to get released so I can go down and reinstate it.
All right, so a plea of not guilty will be entered on your behalf. If you change your mind with regard to appointment of a public defender, you can just ask the court clerk to for the opportunity to fill out a financial statement, and then I would review it, or whoever is sitting here will review it and make that determination. Your next court date will be, I'll check with the clerk. Are we talking April 12th, or is that too soon for us? Okay. Okay. April 12th will be your pre-trial conference.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 4th. Okay. April 26th. Don't go anywhere yet. So in just a minute, you'll get a reminder slip that tells you you need to be back here on April 26th. On April 26th, you'll get an opportunity to sit down and talk with the prosecutor. The prosecutor will want to probably know if there is something wrong with your license, what are you doing? So if you have something that shows how you're making progress on solving this problem, be certain to bring it with you. Okay?
Okay.
You have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So you'll get a reminder slip as you walk out. Okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear Mr. Kupka. All right, Mr. Kupka, are you on? There you are.
I am. Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have 2 matters before the court today. The first matter is Amanda K. Blair, cause number C17811. The court should have a agree to order to amend infraction.
Okay. All right, I have the file, cause number 7811. Is Amanda K. Blair on the line?
You know, Judge, I have to admit, I think I sent her the wrong Zoom instructions.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Rhodes, I'm sure you're aware that Mr. Kupka and I work in the same physical building. I am not a partner, nor am I an owner of the law firm that Mr. Kupka is an owner of, but you need to be aware that I do sit in the same office complex as he does. Do you have any issues with that with regard to this agreed order?
I am aware, and I have no objections or issues with that, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Kupka, to your knowledge, did your client have any issues?
No, Your Honor, she does not.
All right, I have signed the order in the case of Amanda K. Blair.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
The next matter I have, Your Honor, if the court could call for Cameron Combs. I don't know if I sent him the right Zoom instructions either, though, Judge, but he was in custody. I was originally assigned this case by Judge Bates, and I think we have a resolution in place, even though Mr. Combs, who I do not see anywhere on Zoom, I know he's out of custody. He was in custody when I was originally assigned the case, but now that he's out of custody, I haven't been able to connect with him, but I would ask the court to continue this matter to the April 26th calendar, not have a warrant issued for his arrest.
All right. Any comments, Mr. Rhodes?
No objection to continuing 1 month, noting the FTA for speedy trial purposes only.
All right. I'll reset the matter to April 26th. I've noted the failure to appear, and hopefully he'll be here the next time.
Yep. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Have a good day, Judge. Yep. Have a good day, Greg. Thank you.
All right. So the next on the calendar is Noah Brewer. Is there a Noah Brewer either present in the courtroom or online? Alan Edgar, EDGAR, cause number 2662. Is there an Alan Edgar present or on the line? When I say line, I mean Zoom call. I'll call these again in a moment, in a little while. Julio Gonzalez, cause number 3960. Is there a Julio Gonzalez on the Zoom call? No, okay. James Morris, MORRISS, cause number 1526. In the courtroom, no, and online, no. Okay. The case of Teddy Olson, cause number 9689, will be reset to April 12th. Next, Edward Osterberg, cause number 5578. Is there an Edward Osterberg in the courtroom? No response. And online, none. Okay. Aaron Palmer. Aaron Palmer, cause number 3953. Is there an Aaron Palmer on the Zoom call or in the courtroom? Nope. Okay. David Thompson, cause number 2385. Is there a David Thompson in the courtroom? No response. And online? Okay. Brianna Wells Watson, cause number 3965. Not in the courtroom and not online. Matthew Yakovich. I did see a Matthew Yakovich, yes. Mr. Yakovich, can you hear me? Mr. Yakovich, you need to unmute. Yep. Well, there he is. Mr. Yakovich, are you having, can you hear me? I cannot hear you. He's still connected? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll recall him and see if he can solve his connection problems. And Mr. Yakovich is the last of the arraignments. So a couple of other people have joined in again, so I will go back through the arraignments and see if any of these people have signed on. Noah Brewer. No response. Alan Edgar. No response. Julio Gonzalez. No response. James Morris. No response. Edward Osterberg. And Aaron Palmer. David Thompson. Brianna Wells Watson. So we've come back to Mr. Matt Yakovich. Mr. Yakovich, if you can hear me, I cannot hear you. I'm not certain what kind of instrument you're dialing in on, but there may be a mute button, and you need to press that so you can unmute. Or the phone may just be sitting there. So I'll indicate you're online, but I can't hear you, and I can't talk to you at this point. So I'll move on to the next set. And that's pretrial conferences. And that's, where'd Mr. Duncanson go? Okay. Just out in the hallway? Okay. Yes, please. Mr. Duncanson, we're ready to proceed with the pretrials. Had a lot of arraignments that did not appear.
Okay.
So you can call them out in order, or we can go by the order on the docket, whichever works for you.
So we will start with Calvin Akana, who just happens to be the first one on the docket.
Okay. Okay. Calvin Akana. All right. Cause number 0333. Is
Yes.
Mr. Akana on the line?
Yes, it appears he is present via Zoom.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Akana, I have just a couple of things to say before we proceed with this. Just like with Mr. Kupka, if you were on the line earlier, I work in the same building as Mr. Killian Duncanson does. He is an associate in the firm of Ingrams, Alasko and Goodwin. I am not an owner or an associate with Ingrams, Alasko and Goodwin. I am what's called of counsel or old guy, depending upon how you want to look at it. I have no ownership interest in the law firm. Mr. Duncanson does not work for me. I have no right of supervision over Mr. Duncanson. But you need to be aware that he is an attorney in the same office as I am. And if you have any objections, I would like you to voice them at this time.
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Rhodes, you heard the colloquy, and same question. Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Duncanson, go ahead.
Yes, so we might potentially have a resolution in this case. I spoke to Mr. Akana earlier. I believe he wanted to think about it, and since he's appearing by Zoom, we can't resolve it today anyway. So I would just request a 1-month continuance, and with the intent of either having a resolution then or setting it for trial.
Okay. Mr. Akana, did you hear that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
All right, your case will be reset to April 26th. Does the court have a proper mailing address for you? And you don't need to put your address out on the whole Zoom call, but does apartment K127 Vancouver match with your current address?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so you'll get a notice for April 26th. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Next one would be Vasily Borisov. I believe he is present via Zoom.
Yep. Mr. Borisov, I saw you on the Zoom a few moments ago. Did you hear the discussion that I had with the previous defendant about my being in the same law firm as Mr. Duncason?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is that an issue for you? Is that a problem, or do you object?
Yes, I have a problem with Interlock right now. I was trying to find, financial help, but they said they don't do it, and I have to go to the DL. But in DL, nobody knows about that anything. So I kind of stop it right now for now, because last month I didn't pay, and they said that I have to do something.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm catching all of that. So you are looking for another lawyer? Is that what you're saying?
No. Probably I missed your question. Sorry.
Okay.
Can you repeat it again, please?
Okay.
I will note that
Okay.
English is not Mr. Borisov's first
Oh,
language.
I understand that. So, okay. So, well, let's talk about what your plan is today. Is there any?
I was intending just to continue this. We had this matter previously set for trial.
Okay.
However, Mr. Borisov FTA'd the last pre-trial.
Okay.
So I've kind of fallen out of contact with Mr. Borisov, so I need to reestablish that. So.
All right, Mr. Borison, I'm going to set your case over to April 26th for you to have time to talk with Mr. Duncason.
Yes, I need to talk to him, but I need to talk to him.
You need to talk to him, yes.
Yeah.
And should I set a trial date also? That would be May 18th, I suspect.
I'm not sure.
I don't think we need.
Pardon?
If we could save the trial setting for next month.
Okay, save trial setting for next month.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe this is his first appearance after an FTA, so speedy trial would restart to today.
All right. I'll reset your case to April 26th, 2022, Mr. Borison. And without going into your address too much, is apartment F89 Tacoma still a good mailing address?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, very good. You'll get a notice in the mail. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
And the next matter I've ready is Melinda DeFrance.
Melinda DeFrance. Okay.
She's present in the courtroom.
All right, Ms. DeFrance, you're here on cause number 1533, driving while license suspended in the third degree. Have you had a chance to discuss with Mr. Killian Duncason the issues involved in my being in the same office as he is?
I've heard you discuss it.
Okay, do you have any objection?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right. So where are we going with this one, Mr. Duncason?
Yes, so I spoke with Ms. DeFrance. She's actually very close to getting her license back. We'll probably get it within the next couple of weeks. So if we could just continue it out 1 month, I fully suspect we'll have this resolved fully come April.
All right, so I note arraignment on February 22nd, so I don't see any kind of speedy trial issue, so I'll reset it to April 26th. All right, so as you leave, make sure you get a reminder slip to be back here on April 26th. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
If I could have the court call for Daniel Golke, he should be appearing by Zoom. I think that might be him. Yep, the Galaxy A51.
Okay. Daniel Gulke, are you on the line?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Gulke, did you hear what I said about Mr. Duncason and myself and the
Yes.
law firm?
Objection.
Do you have any objection?
None.
All right. So proceed, Mr. Duncason.
Yes, so we potentially have a resolution in this case. I believe Mr. Rhodes just needs to follow up with the alleged victim. There is a no contact order currently in place However, in speaking with Mr. Rhodes, I think it's our intent today to at least try to request that no contact order be amended to a no hostile contact order. This is in anticipation for what the resolution will be.
Okay.
And in addition, the apartment where both my client and the alleged victim resided is being sold. And so she needs to be moved out by the end of this month, and he still has quite a few of his personal belongings there. So that's also the other basis for requesting the amendment of the no contact order.
Okay. So you want to reset to April 26th, but we
Yep.
want to deal with the no contact order. Mr. Rhodes, any issues with regard to amending the no contact order?
Your Honor, based on my prior conversations and contact with the victim in this matter, I don't object to lifting the no contact order. Not sure the legal effect of a no hostile contact designation, but I certainly don't object to that designation.
I think usually the way to go about that is just to amend the pretrial releases for no hostile contact. So if he, has hostile contact, he'll just be thrown in jail.
I have, Kay, do you have a termination of no contact order form? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so that would be in cause number 20332.
Yes.
I'm looking for the date. Oh, there it is. All right, I don't usually issue no hostile requirements on an ending of a no contact order. Sometimes I'll require that the defendant not consume any alcohol if this arises out of a consumption of alcohol incident, or I'll indicate that there's to be no alcohol consumed while the two of them are together. Any reason I should do that? Is this arising out of alcohol in some way?
Yeah, I would say alcohol was involved in this.
We would endorse and request that condition, Your Honor.
All right.
Hello?
Yes. Yep, somebody spoke. All right, I've signed an order that terminates the no contact order, subject to the defendant shall not consume any alcohol, intoxicating beverages, or drugs not lawfully prescribed. So the clerk will get a copy of this to you, and we'll see you again on April 26th. Let's check on the address. I have an address with 584 in it. Is that still a current address? All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Goki. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I see that Christian Hall is present.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hall, did you hear my discussion with previous defendants with regard to the connection between myself and Mr. Duncason with regard to
Yes.
being in the same law firm? Yes?
I heard it all.
Okay. So any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. What are we doing here?
And this one, I'll apologize. In my prep for this, I kind of skipped over Mr. Hall's name. So I was just going to request a continuance on this. I'm not ready for it to be resolved, but I believe we should be able to get it resolved.
Okay, how are we for speedy trial on this one? Okay, it was arraigned January 25th of 2022. So I think I need a waiver of speedy trial.
And I can get a waiver in.
Okay. Upon the agreement with counsel that he will submit a waiver, I'll reset it to April 26th. Mr. Hall, your case has been continued to April 26th. Mr. Duncason will probably contact you, hopefully soon, and he will discuss with you the waiver, and the waiver will be filed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, let's check your address again. I've got an address on Circle Southeast in Shelton. Is that a good address?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe the next one would be Timothy Teagan.
Okay, Mr. Teagan, you've been on the line for a while. Did you hear all I talked about with regard to Mr. Duncason and myself?
I did.
Do you have any objection to my proceeding as the judge?
No.
Okay, let's see. There we go. It's always in the last place I look. All right. So this is cause number 3946, and it's a violation of a no contact order. Mr. Duncason?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to request a 1-month continuance. My name didn't appear on the docket, so I didn't send an email to Mr. Rhodes on this one. But I know after seeing Mr. Teagan on Zoom, I remember I was appointed to him.
And how are we doing for speedy trial? I think, again, it's January 11 was the arraignment date, so can I be promised a waiver of right to speedy trial?
I will contact Mr. Teagan. Your phone number hasn't changed in the last month, has it, Tim?
No, the 2531.
Okay, so I do have a good number for him, so I will call him after court and discuss the waiver issue.
Okay. And Mr. Teagan, do I still have a good address at 319th Place?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Okay, you will get a reminder slip to be back here on April 26th and maintain contact with Mr. Duncason, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all that I have ready from the 1 o'clock docket. It looks like more people have come in that I haven't had an opportunity to speak with. I will note that Mr. Granis, who is on the 1 o'clock docket, is here, but I'm in the process of going over a resolution with him.
All right, so let me just quickly go through the 1 o'clock docket again. Is there a Donald Brown on the line? Oh, you're here.
If we could recall that so I can speak with him.
Okay. Is there a Jamel Flowers on the line or in the courtroom? Okay. Richard Gillum in the courtroom or on the Zoom call? No response. Liam Granis? He's here,
Present.
okay. And Shirley Howard. Is there a Shirley Howard on the Zoom or in the courtroom? And then we've got Rodney Keck. Is there a Rodney Keck in the courtroom or online? And then Jesus Pacheco.
He is in custody
Okay.
in Grace Harbor.
Okay. And is he going to be brought over, or are we just setting him over?
Just setting it over.
Okay. All right. I'll let you talk to your clients then.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, there is a pro se matter that's on the
Okay.
135 docket that's ready and I see on Zoom, and that's Mr. Epperson.
Okay. Okay, City versus Nicholas Epperson, cause number 6131. Mr. Epperson, can you hear me all right? You need to unmute. You're still muted.
All right. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Mr. Epperson, have you heard my comments about, the fact that I am an attorney with, well, it doesn't matter in this one. Mr. Epperson, are you represented by an attorney?
I have gotten advice from attorneys, but I am acting in pro se.
Okay. All right. So where are we on this one?
Well, Your Honor, there was a trial date set for May 24th. Mr. Epperson and I have had some discussions. He contacted me before today's hearing and I was not able to get back to him. We're working on a resolution. I've made an offer and Mr. Epperson has declined, which is his right, and has elected to proceed to trial with this matter, which is where we are currently still headed.
Okay. And that would be May the 18th. Is that what you said?
I had May 24th as a trial date, but
Oh, okay. Well, that would be a non-jury trial. Was there a waiver of jury?
no, I don't believe so. I believe the intent was to have a jury trial.
Yeah, it's May 18th on the notice. Okay, Mr. Epperson, your trial date is May 18th. Trial commences.
If I may, I would ask the court to amend the previous judge's ruling to extend due process. I did not waive my right to due process. And I'm asking that because the prosecution and the police responded to this incident and saw the video, which is the only evidence in this crime, and they failed to procure that evidence, and it had no bearing on whether COVID was present or not. They could have secured the video and they did not. So there are reasons to extend the trial for due process and waive my right to due process. For that excuse is, I mean, the point is mute.
All right, let me take a second to read the file. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm not seeing any written order. Mr. Rhodes, can you fill in any gaps on this?
I think I can, Your Honor. Mr. Epperson is addressing two different and unrelated questions and issues here. Judge Bates found good cause to extend speedy trial out of the practical consideration that a trial could not be set any sooner than May 18th. And he addressed that on the record orally. The other question is an evidentiary discovery issue regarding an alleged video that may have existed but was erased before the law enforcement officers could secure it. Mr.
Sir,
Epperson,
Sir,
Hold on, don't interrupt, Mr. Epperson. Hold on, you'll get a chance to talk. Go ahead.
Mr. Epperson takes issue with that fact and may have arguments at trial concerning the evidentiary ramifications of that failure to secure the video. But continuing this matter to a date beyond the 90 days was based upon the ability of the court to set this any sooner than May 18th. And Judge Bates addressed that on the record. It had nothing to do with the evidentiary questions or issues in this matter.
All right, any response, Mr. Epperson?
Mr. Rhodes is well aware that the officer's statements indicate that the video was reviewed. And so him playing it off like there may have been a video, he didn't know. He knows dang well that there is a video, and he did not secure it. And I requested discovery, and I sent a certified letter more than 2 weeks ago to secure all evidence, including that video. And so this chauvinistic attempt to proceed through this case is just that. It's chauvinistic, just to procure funds for the city of Montesano in his deal of the amount of $300, and to have some type of other control over me as a person. And if I break the law, he knows that there's a video, and the fact that he's acting like there may or may not have been a video just goes to show that he's not very familiar with the case, or he's just downplaying it because you have not been present in the previous hearings. So, I mean, this is pretty ridiculous.
Okay, Mr. Epperson, I don't see a motion with regard to the videotape, the existence or non-existence of it. I will not change Judge Bates' decision with regard to setting the matter for May 18th. The matter will continue to be set for May 18th. That will be your jury trial day. If you have a motion with regard to evidence, the availability of evidence, you need to file a written motion in advance of the trial that lets me know, or whoever is the judge sitting at your trial, what the basis of that is. That's where you'll get a chance to tell your side of the story. All I have in the file is a pleading innocent statement. I don't see a motion.
If you can see this is it's blurred out, but this is the motion. I sent it to the court as well as Mr. Rhodes.
Okay. What day did you send it? What day did you send it?
The date I sent it was approximately January, sometime in January.
I have a document called pleading innocent. Is that what your document is called?
No, it says motion for discovery of information necessary to receive a fair trial. Comes now, Nicholas Epperson pro se, and respectfully moves this court pursuant to the
I
6th,
see
8th,
that,
and
but
14th
that's-
Amendments of the United States Constitution to require prosecution to disclose to myself, the defendant, and permit us to inspect, copy, and test the photograph of the following. Would you like to
No,
listen to the rest of the?
No, I have it right in front of me, but it is
Oh.
it is not a motion with regard to due process or some allegation of wrongdoing on the part of the city. This is simply a discovery document. You're asking for it. Now you have to take the next step if you're going to try to get your case dismissed by moving on based on not having received it. This is why you want it dismissed. You got to put that in writing and give Mr. Rhodes an opportunity to respond to it. So the case will remain set for May 18th. In my other courts, what I require is that the defendant come again for a pretrial, the most closest to the jury trial. So you'll have to come back on April the 26th. April the 26th will be your next pretrial. And do I have a proper address if it includes 234th Place?
Yep.
Okay, all right, so case will remain set for trial with a pretrial on April 26th. That would be a good day for you to have filed your motion
Okay.
prior to that date, okay?
So I'm just trying to figure out how I can give you the context for any of these motions you're requesting. I mean,
The normal, I can't give you advice, but the normal way lawyers and people who are representing themselves do it is they prepare a document called a motion. And in that motion, they say exactly what they want to have done. And then adjoining that, either in the form of an affidavit or a declaration, is a narrative that explains the facts that they believe they can prove and the law as it applies to those facts. That's what's needed.
okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are there any others ready to go?
You're ready on Liam Granis?
Okay. Okay, Mr. Granis. Okay, this is cause number 6130. Yes. All right, Mr. Granis, I've been handed a statement of defendant on plea of guilty, a statement of defendant for submittal for a speedy trial.
It's an SOC.
Yes, it's for a stipulated order of continuance. Did you get a chance to read this over?
Yep.
Any questions for me about your various legal rights?
Nope.
And is this your signature on the last page?
Yep.
Okay. And under the terms of this, you're waiving your right to speedy trial. Your case is going to be set over until, looks like July 31st, 2024. During that time, you're to be on your good and lawful behavior. The case will be dismissed at the end of the 24 months with the condition that you also get a chemical dependency evaluation and that you file a copy of that evaluation within 60 days, and then you follow through on that treatment within 90 days, beginning within 90 days. And finally, pay $250 in court costs within 60 days as a lump sum, or you begin making payments. And I assume that would be payments that you would work out with the court clerk. Is that your understanding of what's going to happen?
Yes.
And do you understand that this is basically a contract between the city and yourself with regard to how this case is going to end?
Yep.
And you understand that if you don't comply with this, meaning if you have some criminal violations, or if you don't get an evaluation, or you don't follow through on the evaluation, or you don't make the payments, then at the time the case will not be dismissed. It will be simply submitted to the judge with the police reports to be read. Do you understand that? All right. All right, I have signed the stipulated order of continuance. You'll want to get a copy. I find that most of the time the difficulty is that people forget that they've got to make payments, and payments is part of the deal. So go forward, get your evaluation, file the evaluation, and if there are recommendations for your treatment, follow through on those, and don't forget to make their payments. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then I think you said Donald Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brown, Have you heard all of the things I said about Mr. Dunkerson and myself being in the same law firm? Yes, sir. Do you have any objection with regard to that? No, I don't. Okay. All right, so where are we going with this one?
I believe this one is ready to be set for trial.
Okay.
I don't believe it can be resolved.
So it looks like the nearest trial date is April the 20th. Do we have, Kay, do we have any other cases set on April the 20th? Oh, okay, all right, okay, that's not enough time. Okay, May 18th. We can double book it on May 18th at the present time. Okay, this is Donald Brown. Okay, so we'll set your case for May 18th, Mr. Brown. You need to be back here on April 26th for another pretrial conference. Maintain contact with Mr. Dunkerson. Don't disappear, because he's going to want to make certain that if the case is going to go forward, that you're going to be present. Okay? So get a reminder slip before you leave. Okay?
So if we can, do you want us to move on to 1:30 calendar then?
Yes.
All right, so the first up would be Richard Newman.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Newman.
Yes, sir.
Have you been here to hear the discussion that I've had with regard to the fact that Mr. Dunkerson and I are in the same law office? Do you
I have
have
no
any
objections.
objection? Okay, so you shook your head no, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay,
no objections.
all right. Okay, Mr. Dunkerson?
So this one we had previously had set for trial. I'm assuming it was put on because of the situation. I believe trial just needs to still happen. We had it set for, I believe, a bench trial.
A bench trial, okay. And is basically the parties ready to go forward if I were to set it for April 26th for a bench trial?
I believe we could be ready.
Okay, I'll set it for a bench trial on April 26th. The clerk gets to decide what time on April 26th. Well, what do you, 3 o'clock, 3:30? We'll set it for 3:30 on April 26th. Mr. Newman, you need to maintain contact with Mr. Dunkerson, so if there's anything that comes up, he can contact you, and if there's any witnesses or any evidence that you want him to have appear at the trial, that can get arranged, all right? All right, we'll see you on April 26th, and you'll get a reminder.
You have a good day, sir. Your Honor.
Next up would be Travis Roberts. I believe is on Zoom. Looking a little burlier than the last time I've seen him.
Mr. Roberts, Travis Roberts, are you on the line?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, have you heard my discussion with other defendants about the fact that Mr. Dunkerson and I are physically located in the same office, but he does not work for me? I am not his boss, I'm not his supervisor. And do you have any objection to my proceeding as the judge in this?
I have no objection.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Dunkerson?
This one was previously set for trial as well, and I think we just need to keep that.
Will this be a jury trial or a
Yes.
jury trial?
I'll give you a call after this, Travis.
Thank you.
All right, well, looks like we're going to have to stack them up. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I may be confused. I was under the impression that April 26th was the normal pretrial date for this court and not a jury trial date.
No, it is. It is the normal. I've been setting, did I set a trial for the 26th? It's a bench trial is what I said on the previous one.
Okay.
So we
I'm
would
not
just-
sure.
Historically, that's how I've done them, is at the end of the pretrial conferences, and when everything else is done, we just hold a trial. No jury,
Okay.
obviously.
I'm not sure I'm not sure how long. I would assume at least a full half day for a bench trial of that nature, but
Really? Okay.
that was my concern.
Mr. Duncan, so we're backing up a little bit on Richard Newman. Do you think it's going to take a half a day?
Probably.
No?
I should have caught that.
Okay. Yeah. We can do it. I don't know who actually is going to be sitting here in April, so I don't know what their calendar is, but we, for sake of keeping things on track, will set the non-jury trial in the Newman case for April 27th. Mr. Duncan, do you think you can get a hold of your client and make sure he understands that?
Yep.
Okay.
Your Honor, I apologize to the court. I'm not available on the 27th. I apologize.
Okay. What about the 28th?
I'm not available the 28th either, through that. I'd be available starting April 5th. Or I mean, May 5th.
May 5th. Okay, so that's a Thursday also. Okay. So we'll set that one for a bench trial on May 5th, beginning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Mr. Duncan, you have a proper address for Mr. Newman so you can get him notice of this?
Yeah.
And we'll also amend, we'll mail him a notice. Do you think his address is still at Ashley Drive address? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Mr. Roberts, we're back to you. Okay. That one also is going to be set for a trial. And again, I think you said it was a jury trial.
Yes.
So, June 15th. Do we have a waiver issue?
I don't believe so.
Okay. New commencement date was February 1st, 2022, going through May 30th of 2022. So to set it at that date, I'd have to have a waiver of right to speedy trial. Do you think your client will agree to that?
I will talk to you. If maybe we could maybe set this to the April pre-trial calendar,
Okay.
and I will discuss that with Mr.
Okay,
Roberts.
so you're going to talk to him, and we're just going to set it for the pretrial calendar at this time on April 26th, and at that time,
Yeah.
we'll set the jury trial. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Is there no other May date that we can use for the trial?
Well, our jury trials are usually on the, let's see if I can figure out what that date is. It's on the 3rd. Oh, pardon me. It is on the 18th. It's on the 3rd Wednesday of the month.
I guess for now, I would just ask that maybe we just, triple book the 18th one, just so we can have the date there.
Okay?
I'm hopeful that this won't necessarily need a jury trial.
No objection.
All right, so May 18th will be the jury trial and another pretrial on April 26th. All right, Mr. Roberts, did you hear that schedule?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and if I sent something to 132 South, would that get to you? That's proper address?
It would, Your Honor.
All right. Be back here on April 26th and be prepared for trial on May 18th. Thank you very much.
The next matter that I have ready would be Sarah Weber, who I believe is present via Zoom.
Sarah Weber. Okay. All right, Ms. Weber, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Ms. Weber, I don't know if you were on the line or not, but have you heard my explanation of the?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and do you have any objection?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right, Mr. Duncanson, where are we going with this?
Yeah, so I'm still trying to work out a resolution for Ms. Weber, so I would just ask that this be set over to April. I'm not fully aware of where we're at with speedy trial.
Well, it looks like arraignment was December 8th, so I would need a commitment for a waiver to do that. Ms. Weber, do you know what a waiver of right to speedy trial is?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever signed one before in a case?
Yes, I have.
All right. Do you agree that we can set this matter over to April 26th and that you waive your right to speedy trial with regard to that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Duncanson will contact you to get your signature on a piece of paper, so we'll reset your case to April 26th for a pretrial.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, let me check your address.
He has it. 7 Camp Creek.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Then the last matter on the 130 docket, I believe, is Mr. Arnold's. I will
Okay, Mr.
step away
Arnold.
and talk to the people who've shown up.
So that's Douglas Zimmerman, Mr. Arnold? Okay,
That's correct, Judge, and I'm here on Zoom.
okay, and Mr. Zimmerman is standing at the podium right now. So, Mr. Zimmerman, have you had a chance to talk with Mr. Arnold?
Actually, I haven't, Your Honor. I apologize to the court. There was a death in the family, and I was quite pressing in the last couple of weeks.
All right, Mr. Arnold, you haven't had, have you got anything you want to say, or do we just going to set this over?
Your Honor, Mr. Zimmerman and I have discussed, and not recently, he's correct, but in the past about setting it for trial. If he's comfortable with that, it sounds like it's going to be a little while before we get that trial date. So, Mr. Zimmerman, is that what you want to do today, or just set the pretrial over one time?
That sounds like the plan. That'd be great. Thank you, Mr. Arnold.
Set the pretrial over?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, Your Honor, please set the pretrial over for the next court date, please.
All right, let me take a look at the speedy trial. Okay, waiver of speedy trial through May 2nd, so we'll go to April 26th. So we'll reset your case for a pretrial on April 26th. Redouble your efforts to talk to Mr. Arnold. The way it oftentimes works is you call, you leave a message, and then the lawyer calls you back and then leaves a message, and then you call back and leaves a message.
A bit of
You
phone
just
tag.
have to keep doing it until the two of you actually connect,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, all right, April 26th for a pretrial, and we'll see you then, all right? So get a reminder slip before you leave.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold.
Thank you, and that's my only case, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go back through the 130 if we can. Actually, I had a 120 for a Samuel Northrop. Is there a Samuel Northrop on the line? Is it okay? And okay. Okay, so it looks like the ones on the 1:30 docket that we haven't done are, oh, they're all done. Okay. So let's go back through the 1 o'clock docket and see if anybody's signed on. So first person I have is Jamal Flowers. Is there a Jamal Flowers on the Zoom or current present in the courtroom? No response. Is there a Richard Gillum on the Zoom or present in the courtroom? No response. Oh, okay. All right. Shirley Howard. No comment from the courtroom and not on the Zoom. And Rodney Keck, K-E-C-K. Not in the courtroom and not on the Zoom. Okay. So we've got a Todd Meadows, a Melissa Milborn, and we've still got Matt Yakovich. Mr. Yakovich, can you hear me now? Well, Mr. Yakovich, I can't talk to you if you don't unmute or do whatever's necessary in order to talk on the phone. So, all right. So the next one looks like is Ryan McCann, cause number 8964. And
Yes, sir.
yes, that,
And good morning, or good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, Chris Sims on behalf of Mr. McCann.
okay. All right, Mr. Sims, where are we going with this one?
Your Honor, in this matter here, it was going to be a defense motion to continue, I believe, to July 26th. This is a situation where Mr. McCann's obviously charged with hit and run attended. I've reached out to the alleged victim in the matter. They've indicated to me that they're interested in doing a civil compromise. Unfortunately, their body shop that they're scheduled to go to is backed up until, I believe, June 18th, and he's indicated that he will have final numbers for me, if all of that stands, early July, so we can try to wrap this up as far as the civil compromise is concerned. I know I've talked to Mr. Rhodes, who's indicated he's not going to have an objection to that if we're able to put all that together. And I've talked to Mr. McCann about waiving his right to a speedy trial from that next pretrial date of July 26th, in which he has agreed to do that as well.
All right, Mr. McCann, you've agreed to a waiver of your right to speedy trial to allow me to set this over to July 26th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Case will be set over to July 26th. Looking forward to a civil resolution of this.
Your Honor, for the record, Mr. Sims forwarded me a speedy trial waiver that I then forwarded on to the clerk of the court. So the court has a written waiver form in this matter.
All right. Okay. I'm sure it'll get in the file. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Sims. And
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Have a good day.
Okay. So now we have Melissa Milborn.
Yes, sir.
Is she a pretrial? Let's see.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, so Ms. Milburn, this is cause number 6133. I have received an email, or the court clerk has received an email from Mr. McNeil indicating that he is down in Pacific County in another trial. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm going to have to continue this case to April 26th. Let me take a look at the speedy trial issues.
You said April 26th?
Yes,
Okay.
Tuesday, April 26th. And I'll ask that your lawyer provide a waiver of right to speedy trial. As part of that, since he's not here, it's So we'll send you a notice. Want to double check on the address. Let's see.
Okay.
If
Will the time and stuff be on that too?
yes. So are you still at an
Okay.
address that begins with 621 North?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So that you'll get that in the mail April 26th.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. So now I have a Tina Reynolds.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Reynolds, let me get your file. Okay, Ms. Reynolds, are you represented by an attorney?
I'm Killian, sir,
Okay. All right.
and I tried calling here, and we haven't been able to touch base at all. Oh, hello, sir.
Hi. Yeah, and that's right. We kind of have been playing a little bit of phone tag.
Okay, Mr. Dunkerson is here at the podium, and he says you're correct. You've been playing a bit of phone tag. So where are we going with this?
Just going to ask for it to be set over.
Okay. All right, Ms. Reynolds, is your address still on a street called Ferry Street?
Yes,
Need to
sir.
make- Yes, okay, all right. All right, your case will be set over to April 26th. You'll get a written notice in the mail. Make contact with Mr. Dunkerson. You know, like I've explained to other people, the way it works is one phone call to a public defender is just not enough. You got to call and call again and call again. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
You're breaking up really bad.
Oh, that's fine. I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah. Your phone is breaking up. I'm not sure what you asked, but you're going to get a notice for April 26th. It will have the exact time and how you call in on that notice. And Mr. Dunkerson, well, she disappeared.
Just her video turned off.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
And I do have several people present in person for the 145 docket too.
Okay.
The first one would be Jack Cody.
Hold on a second. Here. There we go. All right, this is City versus Jack Cody, cause number 8128. Mr. Cody, were you here to hear my discussion about the fact that Mr. Dunkerson and I work in the same office?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, do you have any objection to my proceeding as judge?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Mr. Dunkerson.
Yeah, so this one's on for a motion to revoke. I have not actually seen the motion. In speaking with Mr. Cody, though, I believe it'll be a fairly quick resolution as he has complied with treatment. It's just a matter of getting paperwork over to the court. So I would ask the motion to be set over a month.
All right, so there is a motion in the file dated March 8, 2022, and the allegation is failure to obtain an alcohol assessment and continue with treatment. So Mr. Rhodes, any objection to this being set over 1 month so proof can be provided?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Cody, obviously you need to get the proof to Mr. Duncanson so it can get in this file, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so your case will be reset to April 26th. Maintain contact with Mr. Duncanson, and obviously the most important thing is get him proof of the treatment.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Where have you been going for the treatment?
Seymour.
Seymour, okay, yeah. All right, we'll see you on April 26th. You get a reminder slip right back there.
The next one would be Ronald McGraw. And just for context with regards to Mr. McGraw, he's here for a deferred compliance. He had been attending treatment at, I think it's Northwest Treatment Professionals with Mr. Gary Kolb. However, over the last few months, he has been unable to get in contact with Mr. Kolb. And so we've been kind of bumping this around, trying to get him to get back into contact with Mr. Kolb. A few weeks ago, Mr. McGraw came to the office and I spoke with him and informed him that he might as well just cut his losses with Northwest Treatment Professionals and instead go to Willapa.
Okay.
Which he has, and that letter there is to indicate that they do not plan on doing a new assessment. They are just going to try and get the records from Mr. Kolb, and he should be able to start his treatment right back where he was at.
Right, and what's the termination date for the stipulation and order of continuance?
Off the top of my head, I do
Okay,
not
it looks like
know.
it was to be 12 months from July 23, 2019. Okay. All right, so tell me something about what you did with Northwest, how far along you got.
I had two appointments with him.
Okay.
Lee Gary.
And
Yes,
what
sir.
were they recommending as far as a treatment is concerned?
One, I'm not quite sure. It was a very low,
Level 1.
level 1, I believe it was, Your Honor.
Okay. And do you have the funds with which to continue at Willapa Behavioral Health?
Yes, they're going to try if they can put me on a sliding scale.
And how long do you think it will take if you do the same thing that Northwest recommended with Willapa?
They haven't really said yet until they, I guess, get the.
Mr. Rhodes, any comments?
No objection to continuing this over and to secure compliance with the terms of the agreement. We're obviously stretching well beyond the intended life of this agreement. However, city has an interest in seeing the requirements are completed.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Duncanson, how many months do you want? You want to go to June?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll give us time. Okay, so a pretrial or a review set for June 28th. So that's your target date to show whoever's sitting here that you're making good progress. So be back here on June 28th and bring updated report from Willapa, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And then the next one I have ready is Matthew Meager.
Matthew Meager. Okay, Mr. Meager, did you hear the discussion that I've had several times about Mr. Duncanson and I working in the same office?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
So this one, I've been in contact with Mr. Rhodes, and I believe that the city will be submitting an order to dismiss based off of the terms of the SOC.
Mr. Rhodes? Looks like there was a petition to revoke back in November, so.
City will withdraw that petition, and if the court will accept it, the city makes an oral motion to dismiss with prejudice based upon the compliance with the terms of the agreement.
Okay.
Does that mean he's with prejudice? You say dismiss with prejudice? What does that mean?
Then it won't come back.
Okay.
All right, so the withdrawal of the petition will be granted and the case will be deemed closed. The cause of action will be dismissed because of completion of the SOC. All right? Congratulations. Thank you very much, Mr. Meeker.
Have a great day, Your Honor.
Hope we don't see you again. All right?
Me as well.
And I believe that's the last of mine that are present. So someone did walk in, I'm going to speak with them.
All right. Okay, so that's, I got Todd Meadows on the line.
Yeah, Todd's here.
Okay. Mr. Duncanson, there's a Todd Meadows.
He is not my client.
He's not your client. Oh, okay. All right.
Just a complete or a compliance thing.
All right. Okay. Let me get your file here. All right, Mr. Meadows, I have a report dated February 2nd, 2022 from STOP indicating that you completed a domestic violence evaluation and completed 15 of the 18. And then,
Yeah, it's done now. I haven't had the funds to do my last class for my graduation letter. I'm actually at work right now, so Friday I have my last class when I get paid to get my graduation done.
all right, Mr. Rhodes, any comment on that?
Your Honor, I'd request that we set this over 1 month, and hopefully at that point, Mr. Meadows will appear and have provided the court with proof that that last class is completed.
Okay. All right, Mr. Meadows, we'll reset your case to April 26th. Make sure you bring some written proof in that you've now completed it. You said something about graduation, so you may get a certificate.
Yeah.
If I sent mail to 38 apartment number 4, will that still get to you?
No, I moved since then.
All right. So what is your new address?
It actually goes to my PO box in Elma.
And what is that one?
1773.
All right, that's the address that we'll mail the notice to for return on a pretrial of April 26th.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you. I said pretrial, but I meant review. All right. Any others? Let's see. We got Matt Yakovich.
We'll give Mr. Yakovich's device credit for time served here.
Mr. Yakovich, I don't know how we're going to talk to you. There's something happening with your machine or our machine where we're not communicating. So I will set your arraignment over to April 12th. So make contact with the court to appear for arraignment on April 12th. If you got that message, you can turn your phone off right now and we'll know that you got it. Okay. Well,
I suspect he got frozen on there and it's just been
Yeah.
frozen ever since.
All right, we'll send him a new arraignment notice. Okay? Okay, there we go. Hold on, I got to get some documents back in some files. All right, I have an arraignment, Mr. Alan Edgar. Mr. Edgar, would you come forward, please? Mr. Edgar, you're here under cause number 2662 and 2663. You're charged by the city of Montesano with the offense of driving while license suspended in the 3rd degree. The city says that on January 18th, 2022, at approximately 11 p.m., you operated a motor vehicle within the city limits of Montesano, and at that time your license was suspended, but you were eligible for reinstatement. Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I have my license with me,
You do? You have your license now?
and I have insurance for 6 months.
Okay. All right. What'd you have to do in order to get your license back?
There was one fine I had to pay for City of Montesano.
Mr. Rhodes, is there a standard pattern for this?
There is, I tell Mr. Edgar that for those who get their license back, the city routinely offers to amend the driving while license suspended criminal charge to an infraction called no valid operator's license with identification with a $200 fine. If you'd like to accept that, we can do that amendment on the record today and answering committed to an infraction. If you obviously have the right to plead not guilty and continue the criminal charge if you'd like.
No, I'd like to, that's been my problem. I have the money right now. and
Okay,
I'd like
so-
to take care of the.
So step number one is, do you agree that the city can reduce the charge against you from a criminal charge to an infraction of no valid operator's license with ID?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
And then to the amended charge of no valid operator's license with ID, do you admit that on the day of January 18th, 2022, you drove a motor vehicle and at that time you did not possess a valid operator's license, but you did have valid ID?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me something about your financial circumstances. You said you had the money on you today. Are you working?
I've got a guy that wants me to work, and he's giving me any money I need to clear all my fines out.
All right. Okay, I'll set the fine at $200. So that takes care of that. So does the city take any action when this happens with regard to the infractions?
Your Honor, we will take no position on that, but for purposes of that hearing, the city is willing to take Mr. Edgar at his word that he now has appropriate insurance in place and whatever the court deems appropriate from there.
Okay. All right, Mr. Edgar, we're going to move on to this infraction. You got 2 infractions. One was for operating a motor vehicle without proof of insurance, and you're telling me you now have it. Is that right?
Yes, and I turned it into the court.
Okay.
A copy
I got it. Yes, I do. Okay.
for 6 months right now.
All right. So you got that within 2 days. I think that's great. Obviously proactive on your part. So I'll set the fine on that one at, I think about $139 is as low as I can go.
Thank you.
How about the expired vehicle license tabs? Did you get new tabs?
The car is in the impound or wrecking yard now.
I'll dismiss that charge. So you need to work out how you're going to pay a total of $339, and you can work that out with the clerk. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I just need to know what date.
All right, so I'll go back through the arraignment, even though there's, I don't see any
Yes, I will be there.
people in the courtroom except court personnel, Mr. Duncason and Mr. Edgar. So Noah Brewer, no response. Issue a bench warrant, $600. Julio Gonzalez, driving while license suspended, third degree. My normal bench warrant is $350. Is that what historically has been? Okay.
Because I have the guy that wants me to work.
Bench warrant, $350. James Morris, theft in the third degree. No response.
Thank you.
Bench warrant, $600. Edgar Osterberg, 3 driving while license suspended in the third degree. No response. Bench warrant, $600 total for all 3. Aaron Palmer, no response. Bench warrant, $600. David Thompson, no response. Bench warrant, $600. Brianna Wells Watson, driving while license suspended. Bench warrant, $350. Matt Yakovich will be set over to April 12th. All right, going to the 1 o'clock pre-trials. Mr. Duncason, you don't have to tell me anything, but if you have anything you want to tell me as we go through them, you can tell me. Jamal Flowers. Okay. Bench warrant, $350. Richard Gillum. Okay, bench warrant. Did you hear anything? Oh, that's right, he's in treatment. Okay. I'll note his FTA and reset him for April 26th. Then we got Shirley Howard, driving while license suspended. Anything, Mr. Duncason? Okay. Bench warrant, $350. Rodney Keck, violation of a no contact order. Okay. Bench warrant, $600. And then Samuel Northup, somebody said something about that, but I can't remember what it was, and I didn't write it down. No, nothing? All right, so that was a pro se malicious mischief. Let me double check on service. All right, so there was a bench warrant back in April of last year. Okay, well, and we have, it's not been quashed, is that right? It has been, okay, all right, well, I'm gonna reissue it again, so let's find out how much that one was. $5,000. Okay. All right, I'll set it at $600. I'm sorry. I try to set realistic numbers. Okay. And then the 145 docket, Mr. Duncanson, Christopher Huang.
This one, I thought was supposed to have been set further out. I do know Mr. Wong has a number of medical issues, and the last time I spoke with him, he wasn't even able to walk.
No. All right, I'll indicate defendant FTA and reset it for April 26th. And we'll send him a notice. And as far as you know, is his address still the same as it was?
Yes.
Okay. And then I've got Dale Montgomery. Possession.
Nothing to report on.
Okay. All right, bench warrant, $600. Okay, and then we had a bunch of review hearings, and let's see. I don't think we dealt with Amanda Blair. Oh, there's, okay. Raymond, sorry. Flowers, Gillum.
I believe that was Mr. Kupka's that he
Oh,
said the
okay.
wrong.
Okay, we did that. I'm sorry. Okay. Cameron Combs, Mr. Kupka also. And we did Mr. Sims and Scott Campbell, Jeffrey Thomas.
That's the file there.
Okay, all right.
Did I print the email? I did. Mr. Campbell just wasn't available tonight.
Okay. All right, on the Jeffrey Thomas matter, cause number 8397 will reset to April 26, excuse me, April 26. Then we have a contested hearing at 2:21. Is that going to happen, as far as you know?
Your Honor, is that the Mr. Hill matter?
Yeah.
There's an agreed order of continuance in the file, or should be stipulating to a 1-month continuance.
Okay. Did I get that one already?
We emailed that earlier today.
There it is. Okay, there we go. All right, I'll sign it. And did you want it to go to April 26th, or what was the date? Did you have an idea on that?
Yeah, the April 26th date, please.
All right. Okay, that's signed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then the rest of them are ex parte. We dealt with right, Mr. Meager, did we?
Yeah, we should have dealt with Mr.
We dealt with that one, yeah, okay. And got Home Chick. Yeah, are there any things left for you, Mr. Duncanson? Okay, and Mr. Rhodes?
I don't believe so. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, well, thank you very much for rolling through this with me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the parking violation. Okay, on Mr. Homechick, I'll reduce his fine to $20.
Okay,
Okay, I just wrote it on his
perfect.
written
No,
thing.
that's good.
And then order to release weapon for a case I handled in 2009.
Yes, and what's funny is, I think you released the rifle.
Okay,
There's an order in here where you release the rifle.
okay. But not, oh, consider release. That's all it says, consider release of weapon.
You release the rifle.
Okay.
So he could go, here it is.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not the one you signed.
Okay, there it is. Okay.
So I think you must have released the rifle so he could go
Hunting or
hunting
something?
But in, the police department wants to know, what about the pistol?
Okay. Do we have a description of the pistol somewhere? We'll just release all of them. Okay. Do we know where this guy is? I mean, this is action by the police department or by Mr. Marino?
By the police department. She wants to reach out to him and.
Okay, all
And
right.
then if he doesn't respond or they can't find him, I think then they can destroy it.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's the process they're going to want.
Okay. Are any of the people that were down in the court, in the police department still there from when I was here?
Cindy's still there.
Okay,
Tiffany works in the police department. But Shandy is trying to get her father into a nursing home.
oh,
And we made her an appointment for him to come in and get evaluated by the nurse at the Beehive. And I told her, you can't miss that.
It's okay on this Landon Pruitt. What date do you want it changed to?
When was it submitted?
Filed February 25th, so make it February 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
The attorney called and said, this is taking so long, and it should have went into effect. Is there anything we can do? And I said, well, certainly ask.
Okay, so I changed it 6 months from February 25th. Okay.